8 o'clock. I appreciate everyone being here. I'll call this first meeting of the Agriculture and Consumer Affairs Committee to order. And I'd like to start off with a prayer from calling Representative Danny Mathis, if he would, to lead us in a prayer.
Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for this committee. We ask that the decisions we make will be based on your guidance. We just thank you for the farmers. We thank you for anyone in agriculture, forestry, all the things that support this great state of ours. We just thank you. We ask you to bless our commission and our chairman here today, that we make the decisions that will be pleasing to you and will make us productive and peaceful. Father, we thank you. We love you. We give us Christ's name. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Representative Mathis. Well, I tell you, got big shoes to fill following Tom McCall, and so I hope members of this committee will be patient. But I just thank you for the commitment to serve on this committee. I want to introduce a few folks. Our Vice Chair, Susan Holmes, cannot be here this morning, but she might be zooming in, and Secretary Representative Meeks, thank you. And I think we got 28 of us on this committee, so it's a big committee, and looking forward to some good work to come out of here. And is the letter I sent out to y'all. You know, my heart's in ag. I make my living farming with agriculture and agribusiness, and so I'm just, and I know many of y'all on this committee are the same way, and got a real commitment to rural Georgia and to ag, and we've got a lot of things really going well for this biggest industry in our state, and I want to make sure we all work to keep it that way. And so thank you for your work that we might do. I wanted to. Not sure we need to go around the whole room, but I want to start with our new members on this committee, if they would introduce themselves and tell a little short about themselves, so that those of us that have been on this committee a long time will know a little bit about. So I'd like to, I see my neighbor, Beth Camp, right here in front of me from District 131. Would you tell the committee a little bit about?
Thank you, Commissioner Dickey. My name is Beth Camp, and as he said, I'm in District 131, which is West Central Georgia, Pike, Lamar, and Upson counties. My husband and I have a small cattle operation. He was in agriculture and agribusiness for many years. My grandparents were row crop farmers, so I have a deep affinity for agriculture and understand the importance in our state. So this is a great opportunity and honor for me to serve on this committee.
Thank you. And I see Representative Lim right there. Where is he? Right there. No, he's 5. There you go.
Good morning, everybody. I am Representative Marvin Lim, House District 99. That is in Gwinnett County, unincorporated Norcross, Tucker, Lillburn. I'm an attorney. Both sides of my family, we immigrated from the Philippines. They're both in ag, one in livestock, one in corn. And I also, of course, care about the consumer affairs side of things, so I'm very happy to be here today. Thank you, Chairman.
Next, I see Representative Cameron from way up at Rossville, the tip top of the state.
Yeah, I'm Mike Cameron. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. I'm Mike Cameron. I'm from District 1, which is the northwest corner of the state, Walker County and Dade County. We have a lot of agribusiness, and I wanted to get on this committee to represent those folks and to help our people in agribusiness on both sides of the mountain. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I see Representative Mandisha Thomas from South Fulton. Welcome to the Ag Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Greetings, I'm Andisha Thomas from the 65th District. I service 6 cities and 2 counties, 5 of them being in South Fulton County, which has the most undeveloped land in Fulton County. So I'm really interested in being on this committee. This was my first choice because I have a lot of legislation in agriculture, and I'm working with Georgia Military College and the Atlanta Technical College on some legislation in dealing with agriculture and business degrees. Thank you.
Next, I see Representative Regina Lewis Ward down the end. What number is your mic?
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I am Representative Lewis Ward from District 109, which covers parts of Henry, Rockdale, and Newton counties. I've done some work with the National Women in Agriculture Association, and I'm very excited to learn a little bit more about this industry. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Representative Rebecca Mitchell from District 106 from Snellville, I think, zooming in with us. Can you hear us, Representative?
I can. Can you hear me? Hello? Is the audio working?
Go ahead if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, nice to meet you. I am 106 in Snellville. I actually grew up in ag. I grew up on a sheep farm. My first job was feeding sheep, and my second job was milking cows. So I have always been around agriculture. I also have a veterinary degree from Cornell, focused in production animal medicine. So I'm hoping to be able to bring that skill set as a useful component to this committee. And thank you for giving me.
Well, thank you very much. I don't see Representative Rob Levitt. Is he here or in? Okay. Well, I think that's all our new members. Welcome to the Ag Committee. Next on our agenda is adoption of committee rules. I think you all have a proposed copy in your book, and has everybody had a chance to read those? Representative Corbett, what, 11?
Thank you, Chairman Dickey. Rule number 1 on the quorum. I don't think we ever have an issue at 8 o'clock in the morning getting this group here to have a quorum. I know later in the session, the rooms are going to be really in high demand later in the session to get, and I know we get spread out. Sometimes we might have trouble, getting 8. I would like to make a proposal. We lower that to 6 on the number of members for a quorum.
I think that would be a very proper and good proposal. Does anybody, do we have a second on that? Have a second. Okay. All in favor for that amendment to the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Say what? Representative Mitchell. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I did have a question. Given that we have video capacity, if the quorum includes video, I don't see do we still need the quorum to be lowered to 6? Because I feel like 6 out of 28 is a fairly low representation of our committee.
Okay. Well, I will entertain now a motion to pass our rules as amended. Got a motion, second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, we have a good set of rules. Some other people I want to introduce before we get to Representative Wiedauer and HB 153. See Commissioner Black in the audience. I'd love for you to come up and greet our committee, and you want to come to, why don't you come to the podium? And I know you might take a minute to tell a little bit about what's going on in your department, some highlights.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. It's good to be here, and congratulations, Mr. Chairman. We're proud of you and know it's going to be real good. And welcome to the new members. Representative Lim and I already have an active portfolio from his district. We've got several projects already, which has been good. We look forward to a lot of good things with you. And folks, I thought maybe just real quickly we'd talk maybe activities of what we've done since then, and then maybe a little preview, Mr. Chairman. I know that some of your members have already got some legislation we've discussed, and maybe and then see if any of the members have any questions. But we was a pretty active spring and summer with trying to keep the trains running on time in our business, and certainly we've been in many of your communities trying to just make sure food's where it needs to be, and where our brand has really taken a tremendous highlight, particularly in communities that are here and in around where the 6 million people live right here in our capital city. We did some pretty aggressive things over the course of the early days of COVID with Cobb, with Mayor Steve Tumlin, former member of the House, and of Marietta, some very interesting things. Then your own Casey Carpenter got pretty aggressive, and his activities was pretty interesting in getting food to his folks. But I had a blast, and we're still working together with DeKalb CEO Mike Thurman. We had some real good partnerships there with Georgia Grown to Go and his citizens, Mayor Hardy Davis. We did we're able to do some things over in Richmond County, Gwinnett County for members there with former Chairman Charlotte Nash, how we were able to really move some of Representative Watson's, Chairman Watson's product, and Chairman Dickey, some of your product through there to get folks during the early days of this challenge. And it's been a good activity to bring people together where we can all try to serve our citizens together. And I think we've got some very interesting projects lined up this year. I talked to Chairman David Scott last week. We've got some brainstorms of some things to do in his district with Advance and Georgia Grown to Go, and maybe some creative ways. And so I think our activities during this pandemic have been very interesting. We've learned how to do some things better. Strangely enough, when you don't see people, maybe it's counterintuitive, but the fact that we've not been together, I think our communication as a department and within staff is probably at an all-time high, because we have to focus. You have to be just that much more to advance what we're doing. So keeping the product with our folks, as we told you during the early days of this session in joint appropriations, the only thing different in our operation after the first executive order was the next morning our folks got up, put on a mask, and went back to work. We haven't missed anything. This team's fought valiantly, and I thank you for being sensitive to our needs. We appreciate the efforts and our support that we've already received in the supplemental budget. And we're going to have some other things in the big budget that we discussed, but I'm real proud of the team I get to go to work with every day, and you ought to be too. These are heroes in their own right and in their specialties, and we're going to keep doing our job and serving the citizens of Georgia together. Now, activities of moving forward, we do know. I know Chairman Corbett, we've already discussed that there'll be another piece of hemp legislation. We've got to get in compliance with the federal rules. 305 pages of brand new federal rules the other day. We're just now kind of dissolving or trying to digest those, but I think we've got, Mr. Chairman, five or six or seven core things that have to be done and to get us in compliance. We want to build this industry and do what folks expect us to do. I appreciate Representative Camp. Yeah, we've got, I think, a discussion today. We've got an idea on with some of our companion animal groups about how to a little different funding mechanism of how to help communities when they have an animal situation that's not preferable, but how do we help communities? And we've got a funding mechanism idea that I think you're going to find to be pretty popular. I think you'll like it. There'll be others if y'all advance this discussion we had lots of discussion in the last 2 years about protecting the rights of farmers to do their job and the right to farm. There are lots of different ideas about that. There may be some new ones this year, but I promise you we're going to be active in that and try to give you some constructive ideas. And if our staff can be assistants there, and our attorneys would sure love to do that. There'll be one other program in the big budget that I know this is not appropriations, but it comes back to a bill that we had last year in your committee. Mr. Chairman, I know Representative Chairman Rhodes had a lot of interest in soil amendments, and we've got a new regulatory program that's not expanding government, but just doing. It's a different era than when that law was passed in 1976. We updated it last year. We've got some requests in the big budget for those fees. To identify how we can maybe get an agronomist and a couple of other folks to help in that regulatory part of that, and we'll be able to pay for it with the new revenue that's coming in. So I hope the appropriations process is going to be kind to us there, and if y'all can support that, because it's basically just underwriting what you passed last year for allow us and equip us to go do the job. Close with an exclamation point, Mr. Chairman, because we're really excited again back on the brand. Some good things happening internationally. We had a wonderful Southeast United States Trade Association Zoom yesterday with our pecan producers. We started building a brand new base out of Taiwan, a trading base out of Taiwan about 18 months ago. There are 4 containers of Georgia grown pecans that are on the water right now headed to Taiwan that are representative of that effort. We've opened up some retail channels. We're expecting to continue to build that. That's part of our partnership with USDA. We're excited about continuing to expand not only in Taiwan, but getting back into the Chinese market, doing some things in India. And we had a wonderful 2-hour conference with pecan producers yesterday that I think is going to set the stage for some of our international activities this year. And then domestically, I hope all of you will take a look. 8:30 on public TV this Saturday morning. We will have our 4th edition, our 4th episode of A Fork in the Road. It's our new Georgia Grown TV show that's reaching lots of different people, but it's a 30-minute show. It's 8:30 every Saturday morning. This is using some of our own promotional dollars along with specialty crop dollars that we get for the federal government to promote the stories of those farm families that are out there working to help feed and clothe us, and how we get product to market, and then how do we get some of that good Georgia grown product at our restaurants and some of those good recipes. So call your attention to Georgia Public TV, A Fork in the Road, every Saturday morning at 8:30. And even if you can get back to georgiagrown.com, you can actually watch some of those episodes on the internet. So, Mr. Chairman, thanks for quick run through, but if any questions of the members, I'd love to tackle them, but we sure look forward to working with you. Bryce Trotter on our staff, Avery Chappell on my staff, and of course I know he's probably watching in this morning, but I know we're all thankful and grateful to have Bo Warren back full time, and just proud of Bo's had a tough run for a couple of years, y'all know, but the Lord blessed him, brought him back, and we're mighty thankful for that, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Has any members got any questions for the Commissioner? Well, I just want to tell you, I appreciate over the last year during this COVID time, how you led the department and really led our food industry ag industry, processing, and during this COVID, work with so many different groups to keep a good food supply going to our consumers in the state. And I know it was a real challenge and some real unknown territory for many of our consumers and processors and businesses that provide food and shelter here in the state. And so thank you for the real transparency and working with all groups during this last year. I know it's been a challenge with your employees trying to get the job done, but as you said, what I've seen, it's been very transparent and very smooth in keeping us. I know when I go in a grocery store and see those shelves full, it gives me a good feeling. And so some question about what it was going to look like last March and April. So I feel very blessed. I see one question, microphone 10.
And I want to just apologize for getting up and leaving. I had to go make another quorum. And again, I want to thank you for Georgia grown products. Everywhere I see, it's great to be able to brag on them. But that's basically it. And I want to apologize. I was asked to get up and run over and do a quorum vote. So I apologize for not letting you know that.
Really, Mr. Chairman, he'd heard this before. He just didn't want to listen again.
Chairman Watson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner. Just curious, I know we've got a lot going on with vaccinations right now across the state, and just curious if you have any conversations with DPH about the next move. I know we've got a lot of farm workers that are going to be coming into our state in a short time, and we've got a lot of processing facilities that process our food to keep those shelves full, like Chairman Dickey was talking about. And just curious if you're having conversations with them, and when we get to make that next move, are we going to be ready to try to get those folks took care of where we can keep people working?
Yes, sir. We'd love to be involved in that. We've reached out. I know there's some discussions going on, but we do have an industry-wide call to try to bring everybody up to speed as far as we know it on Friday. You know, there's such a big job, but we've tried to encourage the reality that we're just weeks away from the arrival of our first H-2A workers. We do have critical infrastructure in agriculture and food processing. And but to I guess the main question as far as to the governor's office and to the Department of Public Health, yes, we have reached out, and we would love to be a part of that if there's a role for us to play, and helping knit those folks together. Because I'd love to see us really to budget some of the inventory so that we could meet the needs of that industry. But I don't know exactly where that fits into the overall plan right now, but I'm really ready, willing, able to help if that would be a part of the plan.
Commissioner, I think we have Representative Wilson on Zoom, and Representative Wilson, you got the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Commissioner, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good. It's good to see you this morning, and apologize for being late. I've got 3 committee hearings all at the same time, but I'm glad that I was able to get here to hear the last part of your presentation. And I just want to echo the chairman's comments and thank you for your leadership in particular during this pandemic, and especially the department's partnership in DeKalb County. I have seen the benefits with my constituents. Every weekend they're delivering food in DeKalb County, and that's been tremendously valuable for our community. So I want to thank you and your department and everyone who's working very hard. And I got to say, we've seen a number of state agencies really struggle through the pandemic, and the Department of Ag is one of the state agencies that I'm most proud of, and that's because of your leadership. So thank you, sir.
I'm grateful, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see Representative Mandisha Thomas. Do you have a question?
And greetings, I'm Andisha Thomas
Yes,
again.
ma'am.
And I didn't formally thank you. I know I've been working with your team in 2019 on the Georgia Environmental Justice Education and Awareness Symposium. And I appreciate you being a part of that and bringing greetings for that event. And just to let you know, we will be having it again April 22nd on Earth Day. And we'll be reaching back out to you to be a part of the ag part and food insecurities.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
Count
you.
count on us.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got Representative Taylor. Welcome, and got a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I apologize. I had another committee meeting too, but I got here. A special thank you to the commissioner. He worked hard. He's had a lot on his plate, but he was able to save our farmers market in Thomasville. Really appreciate it. Our folks are so grateful, and keep up the great work. Thank you.
Representative. Mr. Chairman, we've got, I know Representative Perkle's here too. I think so, maybe the primary contact at Cordeal in this room, I think, but we've identified, we did almost have done a deal with Indian River. And if this contract comes through, even Cordeal is on the top side above water, possibly the next fiscal year for the first time and for the first time in any of our lifetime. Bill, Mayor, I'm very encouraged. I'm very encouraged. So we didn't, Mr. Chairman, you know, we didn't. This is that wasn't last year when we were under that 14% cut. We had to do things that none of us liked, and we did not just throw out things for trial balloons for the sake of it. But what it did do is it brought attention to the communities, and it has bonded people together to solve the problems together. And so if we had to go through all of that to get to where we are, then that's a good thing. But I can promise you it wasn't we've been trying to do some of these things all along, but now we've got a little more laser focus and the communities are involved. We can all celebrate that. So.
Okay, thank you. Boy, this you just getting lots of accolades here this morning. You better take them while you can get them.
I better go home before I tear something up.
Well, we got, I see my good friend Representative Bentley down on the front. I think she's got a question. But what number is that? 21. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Commissioner, for being here this morning, and thank you again for all your help with me down at House District 139. But I'm excited to hear that some great news is coming for Cordeal. The Dewey County is in my district right next to Cordeal. So thank you so much for your work on that.
Yes,
I look forward to hear more about how that's going to continue progress down in Cordeal.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, thank you, Commissioner, and I look forward to working with you and the other members of our committee this year, and thank you for the good work you do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see some other good friends out in the audience. My good friend Will Bentley with Georgia Agribusiness Council. Thank you for being here. Brian Toller with Urban Ag folks. Tom Byer with Forestry. Just got lots of good friends here this morning. Anybody got anything need to tell the group? Okay. Next up on our agenda, Representative Whittower, HB 153.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is coming to you from the Consumer Affairs side of things. House Bill 153, LC 364509. Many of you know as business owners that yearly with the state of Georgia, you have to go register your business, corporate business online. Around January, you start getting solicitations in the mail that look a lot like government documents. I walked in the room about 2 weeks ago. My wife was writing a $150 check to something, and I asked her what it was about and looked at it, and she was fallen victim to exactly what happens every year to a lot of people. You can go online and file for $50. But solicitations come to your mailbox and they take $150 to do it for you. All this would do is at the top of those documents, it would require those solicitations to read, this is not a bill or an official government document. This is a solicitation to help people not get duped by that. Simple bill, but I think a very important one. And I'll entertain any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. We have 3 people on representatives on Zoom, Representative Mitchell, Wilson, and Representative Kirby, for your information. But I entertain any questions on HB 153. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I just wanted to say thank you very much for bringing this bill. I have been a small business owner and I've gotten several of these solicitation notices. And if we can just highlight it in red, bold letters, that would even help more. Because sometimes you have to read it and really take a deep look at it to realize that it's not a government official notice. So again, thank you so much for your work on this.
Thank you.
Representative Camp.
Good morning. Excuse me. Good morning, Representative Wiedauer. I appreciate you bringing this matter to our attention in a bill form. I work in the real estate industry. This is also a huge problem, not only corporate filings. It seems like it's anything that possibly could be sent out from Secretary of State's office or even from our courthouses. I get a lot of complaints from attorneys and consumers on that end that they're getting notices for $99. They can get a copy of their deeds, and they must have a copy of their deeds. Unfortunately, they can go for $1 a page to their local courthouse and get a copy, whereas they're charging them $99. So I appreciate you bringing this and quite frankly, giving me an idea for future legislation. So thank you.
Yeah, look into that. There is a portion of that on the real estate that we handled a couple of years ago. But as there are so many documents, I'm sure that this is being copied in many ways.
Next, we got a question, Representative Hogan. No. Okay. Do we have any other questions for the author? Okay. Representative Chairman Perkle, 22. Gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you for this. This is a pretty cool little bill. My question is, so what happens inevitably when someone fails to follow this law? So we actually have laws on the books that says you can't solicit and you can't spoof another phone number. So, you know, I get a phone call from my dead grandfather's phone. It turns out warranty expired on my truck, and that's actually illegal, but there's no stopping. Is this, I mean, is this policed by site? It's great. And I just had a question when it says failure to comply, blah, 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 shall be punishable by the provisions of this part. What does that imply? What is that?
Well, so that's that's referring to a portion of the in chapter 10, chapter 1, title 10. I don't have that verbiage with me right here. What this is doing is it's giving teeth to the ability to go after a company that does solicit in that manner that doesn't comply.
Okay, thank you. Good bill.
Representative Dukes.
Mr. Chairman, at the proper time, I'd like to be recognized for a motion.
Okay. Now would be a good time.
Mr. Chairman, I move to pass.
I have a motion, have a second. Any other questions? Okay. All in favor of do pass, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? What, motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. With the, Okay. All right. We have three on Zoom. Representative Mitchell, Wilson, and Kirby. Do we have a in favor?
Yes.
Okay,
Aye.
good. Okay, this Zoom is a little new, but we're working through it very well. Thank y'all very much. Motion passes. Has anybody got anything else come for the committee? I just want to thank my assistant league off and my able assistant here, David Hartman, who does a great job helping this committee. And then our lead counsel, Paul Hibby, is also a huge help to this committee. If y'all have any ag or consumer related bills, Paul's the great person you need to go to work with and talk with. He is assigned to this committee and very familiar with a lot of our ag legislation. And so appreciate Paul being on there too. So with that being said, number five.
Thank you, Mr.
Representative
Chairman.
Rick.
And I'll try to be quick, but I know I was with Chairman Corbett, and Chairman Perkle, and some of them this morning at 6 a.m. doing a little live broadcast thing. And from 6 a.m. until this very minute, it's just been one thing after the next. And some of that's partly because of COVID. I had 3 committee meetings at the same time this morning and a Zoom call, and I'm 220 miles from home, a long ways like everybody else. I think we need to consider on some of these committees, 7 a.m. meetings or 7 p.m. meetings, because you're only up here for 40 days or, legislative days and only up here for 3 months. Or somebody drop a bill to go to a 6 months, legislative session. Now, I know everybody's going to just go nuts with that, but when you start piling 3 and 4 committee meetings, many of us are on 8 or 9 committees. When you start stacking them up 3 deep at 8 a.m., you've either got to stack them deeper or spread them wider. And so I would like for some of these committees, especially a committee as important as this one, to look at some creative times. I'll meet through lunch and I'll just sit here and eat my sandwich through lunch, because I think we're at risk of overlooking some very important things, because Representative Donahue, he had to run out of here just to make a quorum for somebody. And so I just say that so that maybe, Chairman, you could be thinking about it, and other members. I'm not trying to tell you what time, but I do see the potential for some problems that can arise, because the number of members that need to be on these committees that have valuable positions on committees are not in there speaking for their constituents. And so, love you, my friend. I know that's a complicated thing to do, but we got a lot of work to do and a limited amount of time to do it. And I'd like for us to look at experimenting with some different times of committee hearings or committee meetings.
Thank you, Representative. Appreciate that. We do have Representative Wilson online that does have a comment as well. Representative Wilson.
I just wanted to respond to my good friend, Representative Laricchia's comments and say, I think if we get a few more Democratic chairmen, I think we can make that possible. All due respect, Mr. Chairman, all due respect.
All right, we will certainly consider that. Our time up here is really pulled in a lot of directions up here. I feel it as well. With that being said, I hear a motion to adjourn. So adjourn. Thank you.